you visit this place, it isn't hard to picture Native Americans of long ago hunting and gathering food near the banks of the meandering Rio Grande River. Situated in the middle of the desert wilds of New Mexico, it is a sanctuary for waterfowl and one of the most highly prized birding areas in the country. In Spanish, it means Woods of the Apache. To wildlife, Bosque del Apache means a veritable oasis in the desert.
The purpose is for migratory and wintering water birds, and it was originally developed because of the need for habitat for the Rocky Mountain population of sandhill cranes, which was declining at that time. And so a thought was that wintering habitat may have been one of the limiting factors, and the refuge was developed to help the cranes wintering and migrating down to the highlands of Mexico.
In 1941, only 17 sandhill cranes came to this newly designated 57,000-acre National Wildlife Refuge near Socorro. Today, the picture for the sandhill cranes and other waterfowl that frequent this sprawling wetland has changed dramatically.
Our peak migration numbers will be anywhere from 14 to 16,000 sandhill cranes, with an average population throughout the winter of about 13,000 here on the refuge. And we'll peak on snow geese at about 45,000 geese in late November, and then average about 25,000 geese on the refuge throughout the rest of the winter.
While geese and cranes are a big attraction here, the refuge also draws its share of other waterfowl species, including an impressive array of ducks.
Our numbers will peak around 80,000 ducks during the fall migration, and the dominant species are going to be the mallard and the northern pintail. We'll get a lot of green-winged teal, cinnamon teal, and gadwalls. We also have some of the diving ducks come through that they're not as abundant, but we'll see mergansers and golden eyes, and some of the other diving ducks like ringnecks and canvasbacks and redheads will come through here.
One rare bird species was a regular winter visitor here and always stirred excitement. But there were just too many migration challenges for the endangered whooping crane.
The population of whooping cranes that we had here at Bosque del Apache was part of the foster program out of Grays Lake, Idaho. And that declined over time. The last whooping crane was seen at Bosque del Apache in the winter of 2000-2001. We don't know what happened to it en route between here and Grays Lake, but it was never seen, and we've not since had whooping cranes on the refuge.
Waterfowl that migrate to Bosque del Apache travel on ancient invisible pathways. Some, like the sandhill cranes and other certain duck populations, wing it down from relatively close locations like Idaho and Wyoming. But for the snow goose, theirs is a journey of 2,000 to 3,000 miles from faraway places like Hudson's Bay in Canada and the distant tundra of Banks Island in the Northwest Territories. And once they arrive, not only the sights, but the sounds are something to behold.
The cranes are probably the most vocal, and they have a relatively large vocabulary because they're in tight family groups, and there's a lot of communication going on between those family groups and ensuring that the family bond stays intact throughout the migration period, so the juveniles learn the migration route and learn how to interact with the rest of the flocks. Similar with the snow geese, they're very vocal animals. They vocalize for safety, they vocalize to move when there's food available somewhere else. They have all distinct sounds based on what they're trying to do during that part of the day, whether it's comfort sounds or excited sounds because there's a coyote nearby, or just content sounds because they're in a very good place to feed and they're relaxed. The ducks are a little bit more difficult because they make a variety of sounds because there's so many more species. So you'll hear anything from quacks to growls to different whistles here on the refuge.